Peace. Welcome to Holistic Intuition, where we collectively explore health, raised consciousness, and overall holistic experiences such as self-love, cultural privilege, confidence, sex, friendships, oppressive systems, and much, much more, while encouraging you to be your best guide in this human experience through helping each other connect more deeply with ourselves.
Peace. Welcome to Holistic Intuition. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. If you're not new, you know I haven't been on here in a minute, and that's been for a few different reasons. One of those is that through this platform, through Holistic Intuition, all that means to me, I have learned so much about myself, even though it's only been a year. I've been taking a lot of reflecting time to figure out where do I want to pivot Holistic Intuition? What do I want to speak on? How do I want to speak on it? And for the most part, why I've taken such a break is because I haven't really felt like speaking. I've been doing a lot of internal reflection, a lot of releasing, a lot of things that have been coming up that I'm grateful have come up. I'm grateful that I have been more of an open, more of a flowing channel for Source to let me know, like, okay, this is what's blocking you, or this is what's still being held in your body, or these are the types of beliefs that you're still holding on to. So I've really just been taking the energy, not the time. I've been taking intentional energy to focus on what I need to focus on. And then also, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I also created 2 other YouTube channels recently. Our first one is The Conscious Spot, which is an extension of our meal prep service, which is alkaline vegan recipes for people that are starting off, that have never cooked before, and for people that just want to try something new. It's been really fun to, you guys already know I love to cook, I love to create in the kitchen, and now this has created a new way for me to be creative because now I'm the one behind the camera, I'm the one filming the recipes, and also even more fun is I've been learning how to edit it, because normally Ra, my partner, is the one that edits it and everything. So it's made me feel more self-sufficient, it's made me feel more creative in a different way. It's just been fun to learn a new skill. So check that out, I'm gonna put that in the description. And then our other channel is our new couple channel called Ra and Jess. And my intention behind creating that channel is to be an authentic representation of what it means to be in a divine relationship. Because a lot of times what we see online is very fake and it's forced and it's really just not authentic. It's very one-dimensional. It's like the things that we go through in partnership are sacred. You know, it's not something that I just like share with anyone, but I don't see any of that realness in social media. It's very surface level. It's very just like based on looks and money and things of that nature. And the things that I've learned about myself and about partnership through these past 2 years have been profound. And I want to just be able to give that to other people that are actually looking for substance or looking for real love, what that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us have never seen a healthy relationship. And, you know, you're not going to know our relationship from YouTube, but you're just going to get a small little snippet of what it looks like, how we communicate to each other, how we show up for each other, how we show up for ourselves, etc., etc. So if any of that interests you, I'm going to put both of those channels in the description. Check them out. And yeah, let's get into today's topic. So today, the cats broke this string for my rosemary bundle, so let's hope it stays together. But let's start off with setting our intention. Wow, it feels like it's been so long. I'm so excited to just start. So yeah, I have a rosemary bundle. It smells amazing. Rosemary, on my last episode about herbs, I think I'm wearing the same shirt in that episode. Well, whatever. I was gonna wear this black shirt and then I was just like sweating to death. So that's funny. I actually didn't think about, am I wearing the same shirt as last time? This is real life, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's set our intention for this episode. Okay. So, today we're going to be discussing the difference between green flags and red flags. And this can be applicable for any type of interaction. This can be with a stranger, this can be with a friend, this can be with a romantic partner, a parent, any family member. It could be anything. And when I was thinking about, okay, this could be green flag, this could be red flag, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, right? And one example of that is there's a woman on Instagram called the Holistic Psychologist. She's pretty famous and she has a lot of really great small snippets of information about like the mother wound or just trauma and different things, how to help us understand these kind of complex topics. And she had one post about green flags in relationships versus red flags. So she was saying like, you know, a green flag could be looking for a partner to build a life with, where a red flag could be seeking a person they can escape through. Or a green flag could be someone that communicates clearly, or a red flag could be someone that rarely directly states what they need and expects people to mind read. You know what I'm saying? So there could be like, we could go on for days about green and red flags, but at the core of what a green or red flag is the feeling, the knowing that it gives you. That is really the most important. That's what I'm always going to come back to, is how it makes you feel. And sometimes that initial feeling may distract us from what it really is, right? So let me just give you an example. A lot of times we think something is a green flag because we are familiar with it, because we're comfortable with it. So maybe we had this toxic trait that made us feel less than, or didn't make us feel listened to, or made us feel like our boundaries were crossed as a child. And even though we didn't like that thing, it has become familiar to us. So now when we meet that same trait in a partner, we might look at it as a green flag, like, oh, this reminds me of this and this. And that's really not what it is. It's just the familiarity of something that we have known for our whole lives. So that can be an example of something that may distract you from going deeper and being like, okay, so yes, this feels familiar, and familiar feels comfortable. And sometimes we equate comfortability with something being, oh, this person is for me, or so on and so forth. But if we go deeper and we really take time to reflect, we can ask ourselves these questions like, okay, yes, it feels familiar, and yes, it might feel comfortable, but does it make me feel cared for? Does it make me feel listened to? Does it make me feel honored? And then we can really get to the root of how it makes us feel, right? So I'm just going to share some of my personal experience of what a green flag and a red flag has meant to me in different times of my life. So, for example, because I want to bring it back to Ra, because he's been one of the best green flags that I've experienced. But before him, when I was with somebody else, even though it all comes back to us, it was very difficult for me to be affectionate with this person because we weren't exclusive, right? It was like the one time where I was like really, I was more invested with someone that I wasn't in a partnership with, which I wasn't familiar with that space before. And so I really put up, like I've said before, I had a lot of barriers with men, but this person in particular, I was trying not to act like something that the relationship wasn't. So I was holding myself back, trying to put up this wall like, well, no, we're not boyfriend, girlfriend, so I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So every time we greeted each other, it was very hard for me to just be myself and just be natural and just be like, okay, I'm just going to give him a hug and a kiss. Now, if it was that difficult for me to just show basic affection level with somebody, that should have been a major red flag. Now, yes, like I said, it was my own comfort level and things that had to do with me. But it also was that this person was not creating a space of comfortability for me to do that. So when I look at that versus, we actually just talked about this in our last episode of Raw and Jess, but off the rip, I was so affectionate with Raw. Like it shocked me because I'm like, I'm never this affectionate this fast or even at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm still was affectionate with my partners, but not like this. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be touching him all the time. I wanted to be in his energy field. I wanted to just feel his body, you know? And like that was, my body was guiding me there. It wasn't a mind thing. With the other guy, it was me trying to push myself like, Jessie, just, it's not that big of a deal. Just give him a hug and kiss. It's not that big of a deal. My mind was trying to lead because my body wasn't. Versus with him, my body was like taking control. I didn't have to think, oh, I should greet him this way. I should do this. My body was like, no, I want to do this, so we're going to go do it. Because we both created a space of comfortability with each other. That's one example of something that I notice. I can notice a lot now and reflect on and be like, damn, you were in your head so much. Why wasn't that a red flag to you? You know what I'm saying? The right person, no matter what you still need to heal, will allow you to feel comfortable. They will provide space for you to be yourself and to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? You don't just get to experience beautiful love when you're this fully healed version of yourself, because that's not real. That's never going to happen. And a lot of times that limiting belief plays over in our head. Like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm deserving of a great romantic relationship. I don't know if I'm deserving of this until I heal this, or until I have this amount of money, or until I have this status. People put limits on love. Love is limitless. And that can be in any form, romance, friendship, family, like I said. But if you don't feel comfortable around somebody, if you don't feel like you can speak your mind and speak your heart and feel honored and not belittled, not tension, that is a green flag. So let's just go through all the different ways that you can feel a green flag. You can feel it physically in your body. When I think back to the people I used to hang around with, deep in my subconscious, I knew I didn't feel comfortable with these people because my body would be tight. When I'm around people that I'm comfortable with, my body language will show it. I'm more open, I'm more relaxed, maybe I'm just moving around more. But when I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna be kind of still. I'm gonna be tight. I can feel the tightness. I can feel it in my stomach, I can feel it in my jaw. Wherever you feel tension, focus on that. You should be able to feel free when you're around your people. So that's one way, that's one green flag, is does my body feel free right now? And I know that this is like a very layered conversation, because if you have other trauma stored in your body, no matter what, you're gonna feel a level of tension, right? But you should know the difference. You should reflect on the difference between, okay, yes, I know I still have this trauma that's, hindering me in certain ways, but I notice a difference when I'm with this person versus this person, okay? The other thing is, how do you feel when you vocalize your vulnerabilities or your truths or just your opinions about life? There's certain people that when I'm around, that I used to be around, that when I would just speak on the things that I was passionate about, speak on my truths, it was not met with a level of, it wasn't met how I wanted it to be met. It wasn't met with questions or gentleness. It was, like I said, it was met with this belittlement, like, that's not true, that's not true, that's not right. It's like, who wants to be talked to like that? You know what I'm saying? But even if I don't agree with someone that now gives me a green flag, they're not going to come in with this like bombarding of no. It's just going to be questions. It's just going to be, okay, well, how did you arrive at that destination? Why do you think like that? Did something happen where that made you, come to this conclusion? Where did you hear about this? Where did you learn about that? You know what I'm saying? So that right there is a green flag of how people respond to you. You shouldn't be having to argue yourself, argue down certain things just because someone doesn't understand it now, like in that moment. You know what I'm saying? You want to be around people that are open-minded, right? It feels good. You get to explore yourself and they get to explore them. And it doesn't mean you're always going to arrive at the same conclusion, but at least there was a level of respect and reverence and compassion. So whether it's, a physical feeling in your body, whether it's a feeling in your heart of not feeling like this person is compassionate enough, or they're not trying to understand me, all of that is just a feeling of safety, right? It's a feeling of flow in your body. When I'm around the right people that give me the green flags, I feel flowy. I feel like a fairy. I feel like I'm just floating. And when I'm with people that give me red flags, I feel like I'm boxing. Like I gotta protect myself. That's not how you should feel when you're around people. You shouldn't feel on edge. You shouldn't feel tightness. You shouldn't feel combativeness. We should be feeling supported. And another thing is, we're all gonna make mistakes. We're all gonna think that we have transmuted this pain into something else, and it comes back and we project that onto somebody else, and we do something that we wish we didn't do. So let's say someone does come to you in a moment of vulnerability and the way you respond was not something that you're very proud of. A green flag will be someone that comes to you after and apologizes. Doesn't sweep it under the rug, doesn't say, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's not an apology, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that we're all just gonna show up perfectly and exactly how we want to, but when we don't show up how we want to, when we're not a green flag for someone else in a certain moment, switch that narrative and say, okay, you know what? I did something that I'm not super proud of, that maybe was a pattern in my life that someone else did to me. But now I'm going to change that, and I'm going to make sure that I make it right with this person. And that kind of goes back to one of the green flags that the holistic psychologist was talking about, with someone that can communicate clearly. It is okay to make mistakes, but you need to make sure that you are making things right, that you're acting in integrity and love with that person. Because if the roles were reversed, that's what you want. That's what we all want. We all just want to feel open. We all want to feel that we can speak our mind and be supported and loved and not judged. Because deep down, we're judging ourselves when we go through these certain moments. we're worried about, oh, if I say this, how is it going to sound? So, like I said, a green flag to me is honoring what my body feels. So I want to make sure I feel flow. I want to feel open. I want to feel light in my body, in my physical body, and in my energetic body. In my heart, I want to feel limitless. I want to feel open. I want to feel supported. I want to feel compassion. And in my head, I want to feel that my thoughts are not overtaking my heart. And usually when we're with the wrong people, the people that give us the red flags, our mind is taking over because it's trying to come up with reasons as to why the heart feels the way it does, instead of just listening to the heart. Because we're not our thoughts. Thoughts come and go. It's just a thought. It's just like a breeze. The breeze comes and the breeze leaves, and then it comes and then it leaves. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, like what I did with that past person that I brought up earlier, is I was always in my head. Always. Oh, well, I don't know. Should I do that? Should I do this? Well, what about this? What about that? And I feel like, well, not even I feel, you know what I'm saying? I think this. And I was so much up here because I was trying to figure out, why do I feel in my heart space like something is missing? Why do I not feel as comfortable as I know I should? Why do I not feel stimulated in the ways that I need to be stimulated? So my brain was trying to take over as this mechanism of protection, as this mechanism of defense, of a lack of authenticity and honesty in myself. So instead of my heart leading and saying, Jessie, you know you're not being fulfilled all the way. You know you feel drained sometimes when you're around this person, even though there's parts that you do like, you feel drained a lot. You don't feel like you can be authentically yourself. You don't feel like this person can meet you where you're at. So my brain is going to take over and stop all the knowings that I have and come in with, well, yeah, but it's this. Oh, well, but it's that. And that really stops me from holding myself accountable and knowing that I shouldn't be with this person, because I've never had those thoughts when I'm with Ra. I don't think to myself those things. But some of us are so used to being in that certain stage in our life where we're just constantly making excuses for ourselves and for other people that we don't even question that shit anymore. It's just like, well, they're just, and it's like we almost expect it. That's what happens over time, is we're constantly met with these same experiences. And over time, we just expect that shit to happen. Because you know why? It has nothing to do with those people. Nothing. It has everything to do with us. Don't put the blame on the person that hurt you, or that neglected you, or blah, blah, blah. Why did you allow it? Those are the deeper questions that bring us closer to our heart space, that allow us to recognize the red from the green and allow us to move on from the red flags, which with much more quickness. When I'm met with a stranger out in public where I don't fuck with their energy, I don't need to sit there and talk to them longer. I don't need to, oh, maybe I just need to try that. Try what? I don't like the shit. I don't like it. I don't need to come up with all these reasons in my head why I should continue a conversation or an interaction if I don't like it. We come up with so many excuses as to why this is happening, instead of just saying, I just don't like it. And that's it. And I feel like a lot of us can, if you're trying to like, okay, but where can I apply this in my life? This is very common with families. You know, it's like, we are told these things because we're in this 3D world, And the 3D world lives, it survives off labels. I am this, you are that. And it keeps us feeling, it keeps us in this illusion of safety. Because we can divide, we can separate. And that's how the world is what it is now. They divided and they conquered. But when we take away that label of, oh, this is a family member, this is my mom, this is my aunt, this is my grandpa, take away the label and feel that interaction for what it is. They're just another person. Does that person make you feel special in the way you want to feel special? Does that person listen to what you're saying? Do they try to fulfill your desires? Do they make you feel supported? Or do they make you feel like you have to abandon your truths? Do they make you feel like you need to shrink yourself? Do they make you feel like you're doing too much, like you're asking for too much? Do they make you feel like you're not being respected? Do they make you feel comfortable? Right? Those are the basics. Because the top tier emotions, the top tier knowings are, does this person inspire me? Do they gently guide me into growth and not push me? You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my top tier knowings with people is I want to feel inspired. I want to feel inspired in your presence. And that can mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you inspire me to be more creative. Maybe you inspire me to try something new. Maybe you inspire me to be more vulnerable. Whatever it is, I want to feel inspired. But if I'm not even getting those bottom things met, think of like a pyramid, right? If those bottom levels are not met, what makes you think I'm going to go to the top and feel that green flag? So, like I'm saying, release the label of things and just feel it for what it is. And that will guide you back to your heart. And your heart and your body and your spirit will let you know, I don't really feel all the way right with this person. And then it's up to you how you want to proceed. Do you want to have a conversation with this person and see if they're willing to meet you? Do you feel like this is just not for you anymore? Because all of that takes an immense amount of courage. I actually just reposted something on my Instagram story where it said something like, it takes so much courage to release the relationships where it's not like something was really bad or negative, but you just know it's not for you. It takes courage. It's very easy to pretend and then go home and talk shit about that person internally or to another person. And that's what most people do. They don't say how they feel because they don't have courage. Because they don't have a high level of integrity, honesty, authenticity, love, compassion. All of those things are lacking from the collective and even from our vocabularies. So it takes courage to be vulnerable and to say to someone, you know what, like, I'm really just, this is how I'm feeling about our relationship right now. And some people will respect your honesty and some people will be offended by it. But it really doesn't matter either way. We're not hoping that they're respectful of it. We're just giving what it is, and however we're met is on them. That's just a projection of them. I feel like I could go on for days about how to listen to your heart and, you know, move with integrity is like one of my favorite words because it's so important. It's such an important concept to embody and to feel. You know, a lot of times we can conceptualize in our mind what something means, but until we felt it, it's not the same. I understood a lot of things before, but now I'm going through them on a deeper level. So when I do speak on it, it's going to feel different. When I talk about it, it's going to feel different because I've reached a new level of that in myself. So a lot of people can talk about things. They can talk about integrity. They can talk about feeling from your heart and not just being in your head. But until they've done it themselves, till they have that knowing, till their actions match their words, it's just a concept. It's just a concept. So if this is not something that you're consciously, putting at the forefront, I really encourage you to reflect on this. Maybe do a little journal session after this episode. Maybe talk about it with someone. Maybe talk to source, whatever feels comfortable. And examine in your own life, am I listening? Am I paying attention to the green flags and the red flags? Am I paying attention to my intuition? Am I listening to my body's cues? Am I feeling what truly needs to be felt from this experience? Because if you don't learn it from this person, you're going to learn it from someone else. It's not going to go away. It's just going to keep cycling. You know what I'm saying? We know that time is not linear. It's not a line. Time is cyclical. So until you learn that lesson, it's just going to keep going. So when I finally decided, fuck all the bullshit of labels, of people telling me, well, this is how it should be, or this is how you should feel, or this is the excuse you should make, or in myself saying those things, my interactions and my experiences were not nearly as fulfilling as they are now. So I trust that this episode allowed you to explore something deeper. And maybe even if you do think about these things, is there more depth that can be explored in yourself? Because the depth never ends. I trust that this episode allowed you to reflect and explore yourself more. And I have a few episodes that I've been wanting to make that are in the back of my brain right now. But I'm just kind of still deciding how I want to go about them. But if there's anything that you guys want me to talk about, or if you have any questions, or if you'd like me to revisit an episode like I was talking about at the beginning, and see how I've pivoted, since I made that episode, let me know. Check out the new 2 channels we made. I'd appreciate the support on those as well. And I appreciate everyone that tunes in. I appreciate everyone that is doing the work. Yes, I appreciate everyone that's been doing the work to know themselves on a deeper level and to change the patterns that we've experienced in our life and lifetimes before. So I'm wishing everyone a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.